Hello, fight fans. I'm here with Boxing Beats Ryan and Tureano Johnson, who had an epic fight with Curtis Johnson, Stevenson,
Stevens.
Stevenson yesterday. How you doing? How you doing, Tureano?
I'm excellent. I can't complain. I'm blessed.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into it because everyone wants to know. Everyone's dying to know. What's your take on the fight, man? What's your take on that fight?
Well, I think it's just like any normal fair person take on the fight is that I figured that I was winning the fight and I was doing well, and a stoppage that quick was unbelievable. I mean, you weren't giving the fighter any warning. The fighter didn't go down. The fighter was still responsive. The fighter was still coherent. How could you stop a fight like that? But it all comes with the territory of boxing. You win some, you lose some. You get a raw deal, you get a fair deal.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Some people say that your corner shouldn't have pushed you out to press the action in the last. You should have played it safe because you looked like you was comfortably way ahead on points at the time. How do you respond to that?
Well, it was only until after the fight that we realized the score of the fight. Uh, I can't give those who made critics that should have happened that way. But me and my coach, even using my own judgment, we felt that you're fighting in the backyard of somebody else's home.
Mm.
You can't take the chance. So where we had would we had run from the guy, we probably would have been disqualified for something. It's just clear and blatant that the fight was an unfair fight. Even the referee himself continued to push me in a violent manner when trying to break the fight. When he managed to control and give more composure to Curtis Stevens, I felt that though the fight was already made for Curtis Stevens to win
Yeah, I saw him push
on
you. Yeah,
on an official basis.
I saw the referee push you unfairly about several times as well. I was like, what's all this about? That didn't seem right at all.
Mm, mm.
So,
Hey, what to say? Was that your game plan to start the fight? Because
Uh,
there's a lot of backwards and forwards talk. He's trying to say some of the fighters you fought with some softies, and so was it your game plan and the thing to go and meet him mano a mano?
Well, I know I am a stronger fighter than he is. I am much more technical. I think I have proven that last night. My game plan was let's go in there and let's beat him up. I mean, he pretty much had nothing on me. He would jab. He never caught me with a good jab. I was right there, right in his face, and I was giving him, I was having a whole lot of fun in there, like I said to the crowd before the fight. I was going to go in there and have fun because I didn't find Curtis Stevens to be a fighter of that caliber to really withstand the punishment of Tureano Johnson.
so
And as it turned out, no, he is not that kind of fighter, but as far as the judging,
Get
it
some
was
feedback,
totally
Beats.
different.
okay, just one quick question. So was you hurt in the 10th? Was you actually hurt though?
Say that again?
Was you hurt in the 10th when the referee stopped it?
Oh, I was hurt several times throughout the fight, but it is in the territory of boxing. You're going to get hurt. It's only required for you to get back, and I was able to get right back from that one blow. And after that, if you obtained the fight and evaluated yourself during that last flurry that he threw a left hook that landed, and then he threw a right hand that barely touched me. And I slipped as I was moving back, and I was hit with another left hand, which did no damage to me. I decided to, okay, let me cover up a bit, regain myself, and that is what I had done. I had already regained myself, and all of a sudden, a referee decided to come and violently bear hug me. I figured that in itself was preposterous.
Yeah, definitely. And 78,
Yo,
go ahead.
Mr. Johnson, okay, going into the last round, I recall your corner telling you that if you want to win this fight, you better go knock him out. Do you think that was good advice since you were, in rewatching the fight, you were up. You were clearly going to win the fight regardless. Do you think that you made an error in banging with a banger in that last round?
Well, we know clearly that I was the bigger, better, stronger, more efficient banger. As far as the decision to go in there and bang with the guy at that period of time, we pretty much had no choice. I agree with my coach. We did not know the score. We're fighting in someone else's backyard. We give them the benefit of the doubt. as it turned out, we were wrong with that, but yet still, in either way, had I ran, the fight to me would have still gone in a Curtis Stevens way. The only thing that I would have won if I wanted to win this fight, which I really did, was to try and knock him out. And I wanted to do that. After Curtis Stevens had let off a flurry, we always knew we were right back there. He would always give it his all. And when he didn't throw, I could go and take advantage of him. And that's what I did. Even in the fourth round that they had given him, I felt that even that round I had won that round. You know, he gave me some good shots. But that was something that we had planned. Okay, Curtis, you're going to give me a few, but I'm going to give you many when you're done. And, hey, it's a heartbreaking moment for me at this point.
Yeah. So,
do you think Curtis Stevens?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, B.
No, you got it.
Do you think Curtis Stevens will? Do you think Tureano, Curtis Stevens will give you a rematch, or do you think he'll move on and try to avoid you?
Well, you know, I do not see Curtis Stevens moving on any further in his career. I think it would be bogus for them to think that Curtis Stevens is qualified and able to fight any fighter in the top ranks, such as Peter Quillin or another Golovkin. I think a rematch with Tureano Johnson is indefinite. It is a fight that needs to come to pass. So Curtis Stevens himself can say, look, I have already passed this test. Now I can move on higher. Curtis Stevens went nowhere. Nowhere. The crowd have seen it. The fans have seen it. The international boxing arena has seen it itself. Tureano Johnson gave Curtis Stevens a hard fight. Yes, yet still Curtis Stevens did not pull off a victory against Tureano Johnson. He is not qualified to move on to think that he can fight for world titles. He needs to fight Tureano Johnson to redeem himself. Just as well as Tureano Johnson wishes to have a fight again against Curtis Stevens, no doubt. I would hope to God that fight can come again as soon as possible, even within the next 35 days. We need to have that fight. The crowd needs it. The boxing community needs it. And yes, indeed, I really want this.
All right.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who agree with you. So what part of the West Indian Islands do you come from?
Can you repeat that again?
What part of the Caribbean do you come from?
Well, I born and raised in the Bahamas, started boxing under my father and Ray Minor Sr., Nassau, Bahamas. I spent most of my last part of my amateur career training in Cuba up to the 2008 Beijing Olympic, where I made it to the quarterfinals and I won my 2 opening bouts, and I had lost to a hometown controversial decision to the hometown fighter.
Okay, pull it back. Your dad's Ray Minor Sr.?
Repeat that again?
Your dad's Ray Minor Sr.?
Yes, Ray Minor, yes, he is my cousin.
Oh, bloody hell. I used to watch him when I was a kid. I remember he fought Wallace over here. He was a good fighter. I remember,
yes, he was a good fighter.
Yeah. Wow. Small world, man. You know, and now the offspring's coming through. Yeah, you was a surprise package. I mean, look, I'm going to give you some words of encouragement. Nobody really expected you to do too much yesterday because you wasn't really very well known. And I think you've established that you're a very competent performer. And, you know, you need to push forward from here and let them know. So if you do not get the immediate Curtis Stevens rematch, how far do you see yourself going in the game?
I won that rematch. I won that more than anything else in this world. Besides redeeming myself, I feel as though the crowd, the public, and the boxing community deserve this fight on a fair ground. I even said it in the ring, in the corner, because the referee was telling me a lot of stuff. Tureano, you're hitting behind the head, you're hitting low. He was telling me a lot of stuff, and I told him, say, ref, please, just give me a fair chance. I said that to him 3 times. If you had the mic in the corner, you would have heard it. Ref, please give me a fair chance. I did have a great sense that it was on a biased term for me during this fight. Very biased. And that's why I had asked, please give me a fair chance. Unfortunately, they did not see it to be, the right time to give this fighter a fair chance to fight. Even the referee himself was fighting against me. I don't want to bash any officials in any way, but the truth is, how can a referee push a fighter almost merely out of the ring? Had I went to the ropes and came back, I could have been devastated with a punch. You know, I think that is totally uncalled for. Giving me calls for merely no reason, saying a low blow, which I did not do. I gave him a clear body shot. I think that was all bogus, and it was all set up. It was all set up from the inception of the fight.
Yeah, you know what? I can see it as well. I see what you're talking about as well. I remember the referee was saying that, and the punches you were landing with the right hand, they wasn't around the back of the head, and that was because he was leaning forward anyway. You know, you put the fight forward to him. You know, it was one of the greatest fights I've seen this year. If anything, I've got a fight of the year. You and the Amir Mansour fight of the year, and yeah, the rematch would be good for you, but your profile has risen high, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you show your caliber, show what you're worth in that, and the fight for us fight fans, it'd be great to see great to see a rematch though. Yep. It would be an epic fight. How do you see the outcome of the rematch? Because are you going to change your strategy going into that if you get?
Oh yeah, well of course, you know, after this fight, of course, I've made several mistakes. There will be changes. There will be changes for the best. I cannot say the same for Curtis Stevens. There's only so much he can do, but no doubt, Tureano, if given a fair chance, fighting here in the United States, in Philadelphia, given a fair chance, Tureano, by no means, will win this fight against between Curtis Stevens and any other fighter. All I want is a fair chance. That is all. I work hard, and I deserve that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Chris Caban, you've got another guy here. Go ahead, Chris. Should be there. Unmute yourself, Chris.
Mr.
Yeah, you there, Chris?
Go ahead, Chris. Go on, Chris.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Johnson. I thought the referee stopped the fight too early. I had you up on my calls, and I would definitely like to see another rematch with another referee. I feel go ahead.
Well, you know, I would love to rematch, but I tell you this now. This is not just happening for me. I've been robbed before as an amateur at the 2008 Beijing Olympic, fighting in the hometown. Just recently watching that fight over again. It was a heartbreaking loss for me, and I'm familiar with fighting outside of the Bahamas, fighting in another country. You know, even though I made my home here in the United States, you know, there are still men who do not consider me, you know, a homelander here. But hey, when you're fighting outside of your country in somebody's backyard, the benefit of the doubt is not with you, but it's with the hometown. Yeah. So, you know, hometown decisions are most likely in most boxing fights.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, to be honest with you, yeah, I don't think he want the rematch with you, though, to be honest with you. And I think your career right now, even if he doesn't, you're already, you know, you've already immediately that, because, you know, the free TV, not many people are watching boxing, but free TV, and when you've got a massive fan base. Now, if it, like, even before you had one now, and a lot of people behind you, so even if you didn't get the rematch, there's loads of people watching for your, watching to see what you do next with yourself, and we're just gonna follow this journey with you, man, and hopefully you'll get decisions going your way, man. But that was the most epic fight you've ever seen. That was a throwback fight, man, and that's because of your mentality and him. You pull it to him, man. You pull it, you dug it to him, and let him know what time it is, because I mean, he comes in this way, say you be fighting softies, no one credible. Now you know your pedigree. You know the Cuban amateur thing. How was it different from any? I know you ain't fought nowhere else. Give us a little insight into the Cuban background thing. What was the regime and what the stuff they had you going through?
Oh well, what did the Cuban training gave me?
Yeah.
Oh yes, well, you know, mind you, I was much more terrible than I am now as a brawler. I was straightforward, a brawler. We went to Cuba to learn a little bit technique. You know, not just technique to be a brawler, but technique to be a boxer in general. You know, to be able to fight middle distance and long distance. But I am just naturally a hitter and a boxer puncher. And that's what I do. Cuba has given me the skills to be a better boxer puncher. And right now we're still working on that. But the training in Cuba, it is phenomenal. The training down there, it's a lifestyle. boxing is a lifestyle to those guys. That's what they live. They live that and only that. You know, whatever they dedicate themselves to do, that's what they do.
Okay.
And I was a part of that, and I was able to retrieve, you know, the very good training they received at the end of their coaches, at the hands of their coaches.
Yeah.
So the physical strength, that was very impressive in my opinion. Is that natural or something you just work on, or you just figure you're a lot stronger than your opponents?
Well, I know I'm much stronger than my opponent, but be that it is, I had taken this fight under 4 weeks' notice.
Oh, okay.
It was under 4 weeks' notice. In fact, there was a time that the fight was canceled. Well, probably for a few days, you know, like 5 days, and then came back and said, "Listen, the fight is on." I said, "Okay, forget it, cut it. Let's do this. Come on, let's do this. That's how you do it." I said yes from the beginning. When they mentioned Curtis Stevens, I say, "Excellent. This is a fight tailor-made for me. This guy is not on the same rankings as me. Be that it is that he has over 20-yard fights and I've only had 14. I know that the fighter that I am, of my caliber, is much better than many of these guys who are holding titles. I know a lot of these guys that fought softies, many of them have, but who has the real talent to be a world champion? I have it. I have it more than most of these guys who are on top. And I figured, I'm going to fight Curtis Stevens. I really don't see him as a quality fighter. I really don't. Not at my level.
Okay. 78?
Yes, Mr. Johnson, there's a lot of people listening right now, can you make your case to the public on why Curtis Stevens needs to fight you next and nobody else? Can you do that for us?
Why should Curtis Stevens fight somebody else before he fights me? Curtis Stevens lost that fight. He lost that fight. The referee gave him that fight. That was an unfair call, and in order for him to really redeem himself, he knows and everybody knows that the best way to do that is a rematch. Tureano wants a rematch. He doesn't just want a rematch just to step back in the ring. I want a rematch so I can knock his head off. Sorry for my aggression, but really, I want a rematch. I know what I can do, and I'll do it even better this time. This time, I'm coming in the ring with only bad intention.
Right.
Wow. So you're actually saying you can fight harder than you fought yesterday, because you seemed pretty intense in there. You can actually go harder than that.
Wow. I mean, I trained for less than 4 weeks. Imagine if I had a full camp. Come on, really. Imagine if I had a full camp. I did that 10 rounds as if it was nothing. My conditioning is superb and can get even better. I'm a complete fighter. Curtis Stevens is not on my level. He's not on my level. You will see an even more explosive fighter.
Okay. All right. Well, you paid your case, and the fight fans have heard that. Anyone else got any questions, Chris? Yeah, we appreciate you giving us your time, and we look forward to seeing you next, and we try and catch up with you soon. Yeah?
I appreciate that, and I'm very grateful for you guys tuning in. I appreciate that very much. Spread the word that people of Tureano is here, and Tureano is ready to get back into the ring and do his job.
Thank you. The UK appreciate you, and definitely America, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, champ.
We appreciate the great fight you put on yesterday. Thank you very much.
Bless you.
Peace.
All right, bye.